Just over a year ago, our Philosophy and Kindness Club was founded at a fashionably late charter ratification costume party. What does that even mean? The Sleepy Bois Club is meant to be a place where friends can gather together in sincerity and explore philosophy with kindness at the center of a search for meaning in a world that often feels meaningless. This Sisyphean endeavor can feel impossible and lonely when you try to do it, well, alone. We no longer wanted to carry the burden of existence by ourselves, so we formed this club as a means of partaking in the absurdity of life in communion. In the past year, we've participated in activities that brought us together to take interest in each other and each other's interests. Our friend Joseph led us in a guided meditation that he created about what we can learn from trees. Another friend, Michael Ann, shared a fairy tale about transhumanism, a topic that is very dear to her heart. Yet another friend, Adesh, led our club on a hike to a waterfall in the middle of a late spring blizzard. We gathered together for a summer barbecue, facetiously celebrating the Mark of the Beast on June 6th at 6 o'clock. We volunteered at a local art festival. Our friend Dustin took us on a Shinrin-yoku forest bath meditation and prepared a tea ceremony with tea made from local herbs. We attended a Zen Dharma lecture at a local sangha. Our friend Jackie led a group discussion and guided meditation on inner child work. Another friend, Kekoa, led a discussion on ego death before taking the group on a surprise ego death murder mystery party field trip to play a round of karaoke roulette. Yet another friend, Elisa, led a group discussion on the book Rest is Resistance and a group napping experience based on that book. And finally, we started and ended the year with a snowy polar plunge and a discussion about our goals and intentions over a pancake breakfast. The battle against loneliness and meaninglessness is hard won, if not hardly won. In a universe so full of emptiness, one's only recourse is to shout into the void and hope against hope to hear an echo. Our silly little activities are that barbaric yap we send reverberating into oblivion, and we listen and dance as if it were the Red Album. At times, keeping the club going has been like pushing a boulder up a hill, and at others, it's had the momentum of the boulder rolling back down again. At that subtle moment, when man glances backward over his life, Sisyphus returning toward his rock, in that slight pivoting, he contemplates that series of unrelated actions which becomes his fate, created by him, combined under his memory's eye, and soon sealed by his death. Thus convinced of the wholly human origin of all that is human, a blind man eager to see who knows that the night has no end, he is still on the go. The rock is still rolling.
The biggest thing for me, and this is like, it's almost selfish, is that the club gives me something to talk about. It's the weirdest selfish way of looking at this, is that when I find myself around strangers and we're in that weird, like, what do we talk about phase?
Yeah.
And they're seeming, I've exhausted all my, like, you know, what are things that
your networking stuff?
Yeah. Ran out of like those things. Is all I have to do is like be like, oh, I'm part of this club and we did this silly thing.
Sure.
Especially the really silly ones. So
yeah.
the karaoke one.
Yeah.
Is like, I'm part of this club and we did karaoke roulette, and everybody's like, what? That sounds crazy. Everybody's terrified of that idea, but at the same time are like, oh, I wish I was part of a club that did stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I either get like, I wish that I had people that did stuff like that, or that is something that the world needs more of. Is, you know, like people that just go out and do things.
I think it's true, because like the whole point of this club, right, is that like we talked about loneliness, we've talked about third places, and this is in our conversations that led to the creation of the club, right? In our design, and why do we need this? It's like, you know, we used to be religious, and then we weren't religious, and in the aftermath of leaving, you know, a social like institution, a community that provided a lot of value to us, and then having an absence of that, this was all the reason that we created the club.
Yeah.
So I think, it's just like almost like a tenet of our club that like, yeah, people need more of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People need more of the stuff that makes no sense, in spite of the fact that, maybe the reason that people stop doing those things is because they're like, wait a minute, this makes no sense, right?
You're like, but you need it. You need things that don't make sense.
Is it that you need it, or is it that you can't escape it?
Oh,
right?
That's a good way to put it. Like,
because our very first meeting ever, which, it was a real meeting, even if we weren't like an official club with official members, right?
Yeah.
Was absurdity.
Yeah, was the bowling with Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it may not be that you need stuff that makes no sense, but it may be that like, you can't escape the fact that things don't make sense.
Life is always going to give you something that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so the more you can practice dealing with stuff that doesn't make sense, the better at life you're going to be.
Exactly. Like, I would say that life most of the time doesn't make sense, but like Albert Camus would say life never makes sense.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, then you're deceived, right?
Yeah.
But what we do is engage in these activities that allow us to not be afraid of the fact that it doesn't make sense,
Yes.
right? We do silly, meaningless little things, and because we're not afraid of it, it changes that, like, the absurd experience.
Yes.
It
gives you practice. You get a little bit of the muscle memory of like, so next time life comes and drops some really weird thing in your lap, and you're either tempted to freak out and like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You want me to take that?
This thing's heavy.
I was about to say.
You try it.
Oh, I twisted it.
No, it's fine. It's 360.
Okay.
But it is not fun to
not come
like
to keep
hold
holding.
it. Yeah.
We'll be able to. I was like, can I make this fun? Just like karaoke. Can I make this fun? Like whatever experience we had the last meeting, right?
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that idea.
It's funny to me that you say, like, the club gives me something to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like after the fact, because like I do these fun things and now I can go and I can talk about them. And I think there's like an aspect of authenticity, being able to talk about really dumb things with other people. And then it gives them the freedom to be like, oh yeah, I also have a Pokemon card collection, or whatever dumb thing that they care about that they think they can't admit,
Yeah.
For me, it's backwards.
Okay.
The club is my opportunity to do the dumb things that I want to do and to make people talk about the dumb topics that I want to talk about.
Okay, yeah. I feel it is cyclical, because it's like, I'm going to go do those things anyways, so if I can have a group to share it with, then I feel less dumb doing it in a group.
It is self-reinforcing, right?
Yeah.
I want to do something of this nature, then I do that thing of this nature, and then I'm more inclined to tell people about that thing, right?
Yeah.
And
then you'll find more people that think that that's cool. And
yeah,
like,
the authenticity is like perpetuating, Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, I think authenticity does perpetuate, like, because it's self-filtering too. Like,
it's an invitation.
It is an invitation, and the people that do not accept the invitation, like, they just the conversation won't keep going, right?
I feel like you would know maybe some Brene Brown content that aligns with that. It's like when I act from a place of authenticity, it invites you to, right? Like,
Yeah.
Wouldn't she say something like that?
She would say something like that. And there was some stuff in the Braving the Wild Loneliness book. She's more, in that situation, she's talking about vulnerability and authenticity. But I feel like it fits in the same realm.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, that is the reason we started Sleepy Bois Club too, was like, we needed to create a space for people to be vulnerable and authentic, because if you're not being vulnerable and authentic, you're going to lead yourself down like a place of depression and not being able to open up about the things that scare you or worry you. And you can end up in a really, really dark, sad place and never know how to like open up about it, right? So that's what it's about.